Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another live stream. So, I must admit and apologize. I know many of you request these live streams. I know the interaction is fantastic, the back and forth. I know you guys really appreciate that, and I do too. So I do owe you an apology that these live streams have been few and far between. I have tried my best to sort of keep my foot on the pedal when it comes to doing the full reviews and knocking some of those out. But I know these live streams where we can kind of interact are really sought after. And so apologies for it being so long between the last one and this one. I'm going to try to make it a point to try to do more of these. Plus, I love being able to kind of knock out a sort of, early impression, if you will, like a first impression in this case, because I have not smelled many of these. I think I smelled one or two, maybe Vetiver and Slowdive, but this is a house that for the most part I'm kind of ignorant about. So this is the house of Hiram Green. And this is a house that I think some real fume heads and perfumistas who are really big in the game really respect this house. I've seen some people that I respect their opinions speak very highly about some of these creations. And if you don't know about the house of Hiram Green, like I'm kind of ignorant of them. Like I said, it's a brand new house for me to kind of explore with you guys. They are a house that actually uses 100% natural perfumery, which is a very tall task. If you've heard some of Roja Dove's little catchphrases and sayings, he says that synthetics in perfumery are almost like, using a little bit of spandex in a t-shirt. It helps, if you do 100% cotton, sometimes a t-shirt can be wrinkly, and a little bit of spandex or, these other materials help the t-shirt, just sort of fit to your body and all that stuff. And it's an interesting analogy, and I know exactly what he means. Sometimes 100% natural perfumery can feel a little like it's missing something. It's really hard to execute entirely natural perfumery at an extremely high level. So I'm really excited to see what the House of Hiram Green has to offer. Their fragrances are not cheap, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think they're super expensive. I think pricing, so they do have samples, I'll tell you that right now. So this discovery set, which comes with, I want to say 8 fragrances. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe there was 8 and I'm missing one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I have 7. But I think they're showing 8 on the I think they're showing 8. It's supposed to be 8. So maybe one of them is somewhere else, or maybe this set, because somebody sent me this. So maybe this set just had one removed when it was sent to me. But you get 8 samples for 44 bucks. So it's not terrible. I hate paying for samples. Any amount paying for samples is kind of overkill. Let me show you guys my scent of the day. Drop your scent of the day in the comments as well. And let me show you what I'm wearing today. And I wish I could do a fresh spray for you guys because I absolutely love this fragrance. It is definitely full bottle worthy. You can see I've got myself a 10 ml decant, and you can see the dent I put in this from wearing it over the years. This is a fragrance from the house of Histoires de Parfum, and this is called 1740. So if you're somebody like me and you like I said, I've been wearing it all day. I have like a 10-hour, 11-hour now dry down here. And I've got a spray that I sort of reapplied maybe 3 or 4 hours ago here. And I can tell you, if you're somebody who likes old school scents, like if you're somebody who likes the 80s perfumery for men, especially when they used to make fragrances super masculine, 1740 is absolutely amazing. It opens up with this Divana note and a lot of spices. So you kind of get cumin, and I get a ton of spices in the opening. And this very old school style executed leather, if you will. There are some florals, but to me, the florals are kind of sidelined by the patchouli and like the earthiness of the fragrance and the spiciness. So you get a lot of cardamom, a lot of Divana, which I think can come across in this weird apricot fruity kind of way, and a ton of like labdanum, and the killer ingredient is Immortelle. So this is one of my all-time favorite Immortelle fragrances. I think 1740 by Histoire de Parfum might be the best from the brand, in my opinion. Definitely full bottle worthy, and I will review this before my decant is no more. But I wore this to work back-to-back days. I had to go to the office. And so I wore that back-to-back days to the office. I was going to try to review it, but I don't think I'm ready. I want to wear it some more. It's such a great fragrance. Like, I'm loving every single time I wear it. I'm not getting bored of it at all. It's an old school, like if you like the 80s vintage fragrances that I like for men, the vintage masculines, 1740 is kind of one of those that should definitely be on your list. So really been enjoying that. All right, let's see what you guys are wearing, and then we'll hop into this blind sniffing session. Let me get the watch off in anticipation of dousing myself. We're going to go on skin today since there's only 7. I think we can handle some skin time. Hey, Dushan, welcome, Rizzle. Welcome, Dushan. I know, Dushan, you've been asking for a stream for a while. I'm glad you're here, brother. Yo, what's up, Daver? Good to see you, man. What's up, what's up? What's everyone wearing? Antonio Hobson, good to see the old crew. Glad you guys haven't abandoned me yet. Sorry, I'm still on my shitty little phone camera, but hey, we got to make do. It's a hard knock life over in Ramsey's world. Antonio Hobson, Amouage Overture, man. Beautiful, beautiful, Dushan. What do you make of it? Like the stream for our team? I appreciate that. Trying to get some work done. Sent to the night 1740. No shit, Antonio. Hey. And then I start talking. I swear to God, that was not planned. Right hand to God, not planned. Great set, Dushan. I'm wearing Kouros Fraîcheur today. I've never smelled that one. But I do like the one Kouros flanker I was able to secure in my possession. Which is the Kouros Eau de Sport. That's probably my favorite flanker because it's so much like the old school 80s. God, what a perfume this is. I wish they made stuff like this again. In this, I don't know if you can read that, but in this old school plastic bottle that was made for the gym bag. I don't think this is the cap that goes with it. I think this is obviously it's a tester. It says it right here. I just showed you. But what a flanker that is. Everyone smelling good, smelling great. And though I dearly love Overture Man, I'd have to give a slight edge to Overture Woman. I was very, very impressed with Overture Woman. I think if you said, Ramsey, you get to buy 1 or 2 Amouages that you don't have in your collection, I honestly think they would be both women's scents. I think I would get Overture Woman and maybe Memoir Woman. I really like Memoir Woman. And maybe Beloved Woman. Those 3. I may add 3 women's fragrances to the list one day. Hey, Mark, what's up, man? It has been a minute since I've live streamed. It really has. I've been going through it, man. I've been going through it. So it's good to be here, though. Evening, Micah. No apology needed. You have your own shit going on. Thank you, Antonio. Dior 2022 Dior Fahrenheit. What do you make of the new Fahrenheit? Because I know that's one that I've told people many a times is a good reformulation. So this is a 2014 batch, I believe. It's 4TO2. So it's a 2014 bottle, and it's fantastic. I have no problem with this at all. And I have a bottle that is from the 80s, thanks to Anouge, and I have a bottle from the 90s, thanks to my old man. One of the perfumes he gifted to me. And I mean, my 2014 bottle holds up to both of them. Like, there are slight differences, but I don't think anywhere near different enough to go pay the crazy money people are asking for the old stuff. I think Dior did a very good job of reformulating this, and I think that some new materials came along that sort of helped them keep Dior Fahrenheit in the tip-top shape that it's in. So yeah, I hope you like that new bottle, Frank. Dior Granville. I've never smelled that one, Micah. Pure Distance M, one of my all-time favorite leathers. I'm going to review that one day. Never tried Hiram Green. Let's see what they're about. Let's see what they're about indeed. Let's get a spray. Where should we start? Let's start with the one everyone talks about. Since I have been on a little bit of a honey kick, I'm going to do some shameless self-promotion here. So if you are interested in honey perfumes, before I spray Slowdive on my skin, which everyone claims is one of the greatest honeys, and I think I have smelled it once before, and I think it is fantastic. Recently, I reviewed, thanks to my good friend A2. A2, if you're watching, I really appreciate this, mate. He sent me a full vintage Palais Royale bottle of Miel du Bois, and I reviewed it on the channel a couple days ago, and it is fantastic. One of the best honey fragrances that is not done in the 80s style that I love. So if you love things like Lapidus, Pour Homme, if you love things like Hugo Boss #1, Marbert Man, you know, if you like those type of honeys, Givenchy Gentleman with that big patchouli honey, if that's kind of your thing, Beverly Hills for men from the 80s, that's my thing too. And I love those type of honey fragrances. And for me, I'll always prefer that style. But if you just take a step back and objectively say, what is one of the best honey fragrances outside of that? I think Christopher Sheldrake created an absolute gem of a honey fragrance here. It's slightly floral with that hawthorn, and it's just got this unbelievable purple iris feel. I think even though I rambled about it for half an hour, I think Rich Mitch in his like 5-10 minute review hit it on the nail on the head. He said it's like smelling a honey fragrance where the bees are like getting their pollen from an iris field all around their beehive, and he's spot on. So before I spray Slowdive, shameless plug, go check out my Miel du Bois review of Serge Lutens, and there'll be more Serges to come, more Serge reviews to come on the channel. So indeed, always heard good things about Hiram Green. Yes, me too. Me too. My God, Black Monday. I saw the picture of that bottle. Those bottles you sent me, they are legit, mate. They absolutely have blessed you. Enjoy every single second of those. I've got a vintage Bois de Zile, but it's nowhere near as old as the one you sent me. It is, so this is mine right here. It is the Eau de Toilette. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the screen, but it is actually the Eau de Toilette, but it's the 2007 version. Your version was like from 40 years ago. Oh, it's such a great one of the best sandalwoods of all time, for sure, hands down. All right, let's spray Slowdive. Let's get Slowdive on my skin. Actually, I might run out of skin. I don't know if I have enough space for all this. We'll do Slowdive on the left wrist to begin with. 100% natural perfumery. Let's let that settle, shall we? Interesting. That's different from what I remember. I thought I sprayed this, but I don't remember this. It says, when the Indian summer air is almost palpable. So, what am I smelling? I mean, it clearly has that texture of honey, but there's something fresh about it too. It's not just, there's something animalic about it. Maybe it's the dried fruits and the honey and resins mixing with sort of this very stark contrast of fresh flowers in the top. So there's orange blossom and neroli. I don't know if you can hear the thunder, but if we lose power or something, I'll try to come back on when I can. But there's this, I said it in the review of Miel du Bois, but I really do think that great perfumery is about contrast. And I think good perfumers can sort of contrast a lot of different notes. Here, they're trying to contrast the very sweet, syrupy, thick, slightly animalic, because I think honey is kind of animalic in its own right. Slightly animalic, slightly spicy, and I'm definitely getting this spiciness of the dried fruits right now. It smells like dried apricots and, you know, dried peaches, maybe some dried plums, and the sort of soapy freshness of orange blossom and neroli. Very interesting. I think I prefer Miel du Bois, but Slowdive. So I went on that whole tirade about how, 80s honey fragrances like Hugo Boss #1 and Givenchy Gentleman from the 70s are sort of in their own category, and I'll always love those as my favorite honey fragrances. And then I said, as far as like other honey fragrances go that sit in a little different execution, I think Miel du Bois is at the top. But I definitely think Slowdive and Bee from Zoologist are two that you can kind of put on that list if you want a little different execution. All modern niche fragrances. Miel du Bois came out in 2005, and I think Hiram Green Slowdive is a 2017 release. I'm getting a lot of spices from somewhere, and I'm not sure where that's from. Maybe it's sort of that green camphor-like smell of the tuberose. Tuberose can sometimes have this milky camphor-like smell. Maybe it's that strange tuberose mixing with the honey and tobacco flower and the sort of soapy, the neroli and orange blossom comes across as very soapy, and it's a very stark contrast with the honey. It's like they really clash, but I like it. I like it. That's really good stuff. I no way would I think that this is 100% natural perfume. The very first comment on Parfumo, someone writes, the opening is a bit overwhelming, but the dry down is amazing. And I see what they mean with the opening being overwhelming. There definitely is. It's a very strange opening, a very weird sort of contrast, slightly clashy, but I like it. Almost like a gourmand take on honey with dried fruits. Really good stuff. I see why this one's hyped to the heavens, and maybe I haven't sprayed this one because I don't remember this. Unless it just feels so different from what I initially sprayed. Good to catch your stream. I sent it today. Chanel Coromandel. I love Coromandel. It's fantastic. Drink of the day is ginger beer. You guys like ginger beer? I'm actually a huge fan. It's not a good thing to drink on live streams, though, because it makes you burp. So I'll excuse myself ahead of time. But I am a big fan of the ginger beer. Dior Homme Parfum, one of the all-time great designers, mate. Enjoy that. Histoire de Parfum line is solid. Yes, it is. I'm going to review 1725, Patchouli Noir, and if I have not reviewed Rare Fidelis yet, Rare Fidelis is going to get a review. And maybe a couple others. I think I have some of those Discovery, I think I have 4 or 5 of those Discovery atomizers, those 15 mils, which I wish more houses offered those 15 mils that Histoire de Parfum does. Yeah, it's Heritage EDT is literally one of the greatest masculines of all time to me. If you said, Ramsey, top 10 masculine fragrances ever without thinking, go. You would have to throw this on there somewhere to me. This is just the perfect representation of its, if Amber Fougere was a species, it would be like the perfect representation of that species. It is absolutely perfect. Yes, 1740 is full bottle worthy, and will be getting a review from me one of these days. Yeah, my nose is really focusing on this spicy dried fruit note, which there really aren't many spices listed in Slowdive. Maybe because of the name, Slowdive. I mean, maybe literally the dry down will slowly morph into something a little deeper as you dive deeper into it. Let's see what the Hiram Green website has to say, just out of curiosity. It says, Slowdive is a warm tobacco-themed fragrance. Yeah, I can definitely see the tobacco and dried fruits, but my nose keeps focusing on that dried fruit aspect in the top, and that weird soapy neroli with the honey. Captures the mood of these languid afternoons when the sweetness of the Indian summer air is almost palpable. The heady scent of summer flowers and the humming bees surround you as you flee the high summer sun. Excuse me. The fragrance opens with fresh and flowery top notes of neroli and orange flower before tobacco blossom, honey, and beeswax take over. The heart, rich and deep with hints of dried fruits and creamy tuberose. Definitely the tuberose is evident. But it's not one of those tuberoses that will put you off if you're a guy and you don't like tuberose. I would have no problem wearing this. It's delicately anchored by a base of warm resins that give Slowdive its soft and exotic touch. Yeah, good stuff. 50 mils is $175. So like I said, it is a little expensive. The blend with that dried fruits and, you know, tobacco that's starting to feel a little bit smoky on my skin. I'm not saying it smells like this, but the blend kind of reminds me a little bit of the way that something like Camel is executed with its dried fruits, but this is frankincense, so you get a lot more of that incense vibe, whereas here you definitely get that tobacco sort of dried fruit combo, which is a fantastic combo and one of my favorite tobacco fragrances that showed up in my 2001 this year in Perfume video, Michael by Michael Kouros. But you have to get the vintage on that one if you want the one that I'm specifically talking about, because that one has been reformulated. Just try to get the one where the words go horizontal instead of, they changed it to where the words are written vertically later on, and that's almost a different fragrance. I'm wearing Diva. I love Diva Petra. I have a review on it. It's fantastic. That's probably full bottle worthy. I only have a little mini, which I did a review from. Hello from Singapore. Hello, Clarence. Good to see you. Scent of the Night, Serge Lutens Ombre Sultan, my favorite amber of all time, hands down. Ombre Sultan. And, you know, another amber that's really climbed the ranks, and many people won't call it an amber, but I can sense the ambery aspects of it loud and clear, is Arige Ladore's Russian Oud. So the oud is sort of chocolatey, and, you know, it's supposed to be like an enticing oud, right? Slightly gourmand because that chocolatey element, but the way he did the labdanum in Russian Oud, the way that it has this lava-like feel, I'm in love with that. Take care, Headless Sense. Good to see you. Super good. Totally agree. Reform is spot on. It really is. Been trying to test Bogway My. I love the note listing. Have you tried it? I struggle with that one. I need to go back to it. I need to go back to it and give it more chances. But I'm honestly, I'm not a big fan of Bogway's perfumes. Granted, I've only tried a couple, but I think his best work for me, the guy that did he also did a fragrance for the House of Zoologists called Tyrannosaurus Rex, T-Rex. Antonio Gardoni is his name, and T-Rex, I think, is his best work for me. I mean, that's a huge, smoky, resinous, crazy fragrance, but I really like it. You know, there's a little bit of leather and civet, animalics in the base. The top has this weird blood note in it, like the dinosaurs were just hit by a meteor and exploded. You know, it's almost a violet fragrance, if that makes sense, which, you know, if you're coming at it from this asteroid hitting the Earth, killing all the dinosaurs and trying to capture that moment, it makes sense. I like what Slowdive is turning into. Somehow there's some spices in here that are not listed. Maybe the dried fruits is giving off a slight spicy element. Maybe it's the tobacco flower, because Parfumo doesn't list tobacco. It actually lists tobacco flower, which is a very similar note to what Versace's The Dreamer uses. And so, but this is nothing like The Dreamer, but it's a very unique fragrance. I like Slowdive. That's a good start so far. Modern Fahrenheit is solid. It sure is. I really need to investigate more of these Amouage women's. I have a sample of Oh, it's fantastic. That's another one that is, I mean, you know, just I have a review of that one on the channel too, from a decant, thanks to our good friend Dushan. Reeve Gosh didn't care for Hiram Green. All of them, or just a couple of them. Because I think Slowdive's good so far. It's a good start. But I know that's the most popular one, so hopefully that's not like the one good one. Vetiver Royale Bourbon by yes. I've got a sample of that somewhere, Daniel. That's a great Vetiver, and that's a really solid house. Ariza El Legrand. Very solid house. I appreciate you guys joining me on a whim here. Sometimes that's how it goes with these live streams. Good evening, ladies and gents. Good to see you bristle back. Mohammed, welcome. I love Slowdive. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I'm liking it more as it's drying down even more, actually. It's the top is a very abrasive, it's like rubbing the white floor, the orange blossom and neroli in the top offset against these other heavier notes is a strange opening, but they did a good job with it. Quitter man, I was in love with that fragrance when I did my video on it. And if Russian Atom would come out with a version of that that did not have that, birch tar that was not treated, that could easily be like a signature scent for me. I love what he did with that Cuir de Russie, and even the scent, even the dry down, which some people said was too powdery. It reminded me of kind of like a Guerlain style. Like I could imagine that being Guerlain's Cuir de Russie, even though I've never smelled Guerlain's Cuir de Russie because it's a proper unicorn. But I could just imagine that being Cuir de Russie by Guerlain. It's fantastic. Sheeper Peloton, one of my all-time favorites. I'll review that one of these days as well. Russian Nude 2, you guys are rocking some solid juice. Haven't sniffed any Amouage women, but I heard that one is a beautiful Sheeper. There, yeah. I did some live streams where I tested nothing but Amouage. This is Jubilation for women. This is like an old school. That's how Amouage's testers used to come. And so this is Jubilation for women. And this is absolutely fantastic. I am in love with Jubilation for women. If you like something like Diaghilev, honestly, I would give Jubilation for women a try. I prefer Diaghilev. There's also a curry note. Not curry, but there's a cumin note in Jubilation for women that is not listed. And I think they specifically tried to stay away from it. Yes, Interlude Woman's also fantastic. Definitely need to get to know the Amouage women's range. It's one of my favorite houses. Me too. Well, it was one of my favorite houses till the Fishman took over. B is indeed the one that pops in my head. Okay, so if you like B, I will tell you right now, Miel du Bois is what it smells like B modeled itself after, because this was 2005. B is within the last 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years, I think. Let's see, when was B put out? So B was put out in 2019, so 4 years ago. And honestly, if you pull up B, Slowdive pulls up. But I think B is much closer to Miel du Bois. Slowdive goes in a little different direction with the dried fruits and tobacco, and that very interesting, clean smelling neroli and orange blossom, and then the tuberose note. This is a crazy fragrance. The resins in the base. I like it. All right, let's spray something else so I don't get stuck on one fragrance for the whole time. Let's do Hyde. And by the way, if you've never seen their samples, they like individually number each one with the batch. Kind of interesting. So this is Hyde. So let me make a note on these. So Slowdive is left wrist. Hyde will be right wrist. Let's see what old Hyde is all about, shall we? All right. Look at the color of the juice on this one. Oh, that is smoky, super smoky from the beginning. Oh man, that is like birch tar heaven right in the top. Wow, that is really good. That's two good ones right off the bat from Hiram Green. Hyde is very smoky, very resinous. Actually, if you like Russian Adams Cuir de Russie, I would tell you to smell Hyde. It's in that same, it's in a very similar ballpark. But the smoke here in Hyde almost comes across like charred. You know, if you think about grilling something with charcoal and maybe like you know, once the charcoal has been going for a long time, it kind of settles into a little bit of a, you know, the smoke from the grill when you close it kind of smells a very specific way with that charcoal, almost slightly ashy. This has a slightly ashy, slightly pissy birch tar note, and it says it has bergamot and lemon in the top, but honestly, that first blast was just like birch tar. I mean, smoky, woody. There's something pissy underneath it though, which is very interesting. It's like you tried to piss on the barbecue pit to put it out. Maybe that's the sweet acacia. Sweet acacia. I can't say that's a note I'm too familiar with. I've heard of it before. So it's supposed to have balsamic, iris, honey-like, and powdery qualities. I'm not getting any of that. I'm getting like a pissy, spicy, kind of burnt wood, birch tar feel. It says there's vanilla and labdanum and oak moss in the base, so maybe as this sort of dries, it'll mellow out a little bit, but that blast is leathery, smoky, woody, really good, really good. If you like, you know, if you like these type of scents, I'm trying to think. There was one by Bertrand Duchaufour recently that I reviewed that I can absolutely never remember the name of. He did it for Naomi Goodsir, and it was called he did it for Naomi Goodsir recently too. I think it was based on horses. Corpus Equus from 2021. If you smelled sort of that smoky Corpus Equus styles of smoked woods, they don't smell the same, okay? This is much more pissy, smoky, woody, barbecue-like. Corpus Equus kind of goes, I have a review of Corpus Equus on the channel. But if you like that smoked wood feel, I would tell you to give Hyde a try for sure. Also, you know what Hyde's reminding me of? And it's interesting because it's also a 100% natural perfume, is this. So this is Anna Zworynkina's Cuir de Russie. And it's interesting, I mentioned Russian Adams Cuir de Russie at the beginning, but really, Hyde is closer to Anna Zworynkina's take on a Cuir de Russie. And these are both natural perfumes, by the way. So that makes sense. I think I might like Hyde even a little bit more than Anna Zworynkina's take on it. But Hyde says sensual and addictingly mesmerizing. Let's see what the Hiram Green website has to say. So for Hyde, it says, Hyde is a sensual and addictively mesmerizing leather-themed fragrance. Hyde opens with a strong burst of bright lemon and bergamot. Well, the bright lemon and bergamot just get overtaken. It's like the turtle versus the hare, and the hare just takes off and the turtle is left in its dust. All you smell in the beginning are those woods to me. The cheerful notes then clash with the dry and sharp scent of birch tar, reminiscent of burned wood and cassie. An opulent flower with intense green, spicy nuances. Yeah, definitely getting the pissy, maybe the green pissiness is kind of what I'm interpreting is that, you know, slight pissy aspect to the floral side. Both form a vibrant leather note with powerful depth and intense appeal. This beating heart is embraced by a warm and elegant base of smoky labdanum and malt vanilla, melting into earthy oak moss. Seductive and challenging, Hyde is an ode to all those adventure-seeking souls, a unisex fragrance perfect for day and night. Well, they may say it's unisex, but I think this leans masculine because of the way it's executed. Again, 50 mils is 175 bucks. So expensive, but not absolutely horrible. And Wash has been the most consistently excellent house to my nose, or at least up until Overture Man Woman. I haven't tried any more recent. Don't. I would say just don't, to be honest with you. Try Silver Oud. And, you know, other than Silver Oud, and try World Tobacco. I mean, that was a good one, too. But, yeah, some of the newer Amouages can be, Ice cream of the day, Ben & Jerry's chocolate, can't go wrong. Picked up a bunch of greats. Anuj Marbert, man. Portos. Nino Cerruti. YSL. You're on a roll, man. A good perfume should shock you. Lemon Pledge. How do they care? That's good stuff. Black Monday. I'm very proud of you, mate. You made some banging buys there. Ice cream of the day, non-existent. I love ice cream, but I am such a routined human that if it's in the routine, like I'll literally sit and just eat like a giant bowl. I could eat like 5 scoops of ice cream. And if it's in the routine, I will literally do it every day. Like I'll turn off this video and go eat my ice cream and go to bed. So instead, I started trying to run and work out and stuff like that. And so if that's in the routine, I'll just continue to do it. So I just have to be very careful with, you know, doing stuff like that because I'll make it a routine quickly. Oudgasm Tobacco. What a name, Alan. Oudgasm Tobacco. Wow. I got to put that on the to sniff list just because of the name. Oudgasm. That sounds like something that you would hear from Aaron Terrence Hughes. From K. Ali. I've never even heard of this brand, man. You find some. You really hunt for the ouds, my friend. All right. It's on the wish list. Tobacco. Is it tobacco oud? Interesting. Let's see what else this house has. K. Ali. The development of the fragrance label K. Ali is interesting and unusual at the same time. The combination of traditional Orient and networks of the 21st century make the brand something extraordinary. The story of K. Ali began in 2010 on Instagram, where Huda Ketan informed about topics from the world of cosmetics and fragrances on her blog, Huda Beauty. With over 25 million followers, her blog quickly became enormously successful, mainly due to the credibility of the trained makeup artist. Encouraged by the large fan base, Huda Ketan wanted to make her fragrances after only a short time. 4 different fragrance collections were presented, 2018 under the name K. Ali. Okay, interesting. A blogger. They also have a vanilla oud. That praline note scares me, though. I'm not going to lie. That praline note scares me. Dushan, that's why I love Zoologist also. Once in a while, crazy banger comes out, a lot of creativity. Yeah, I have live streams on the whole, trying the entire line. I even have videos on the new one, Harvest Mouse and Tiger. So I'm pretty up on my Zoologist, even though I only own a couple bottles. I only own these 2. These are the only 2 Zoologists. It is Moth, which I think smells like a crazy take on like a Guerlain with those florals and, you know, there's oud in the base, there's smoke. It just goes in a lot of different directions. I like it. And then Camel. And I have some of the 10 ml decants, which I'll review. I think Sacred Scarab is full bottle worthy too. That's a fantastic Zoologist. My Arizadori finally shipped. These will be my first real oud fragrances. I do have Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomad, and I love it because it leans masculine. Yeah, I'm going to review that soon. Lewis, but I'm very excited for you to get your nose on these. Arisias, my friend. Recently got 2 Vetiver samples. One was Hiram Green, which was interesting, and the other was DS and Durga, which was amazing. Interesting. My favorite DS and Durga, for those of you who want a chore, if you want to take my advice and blind buy something, because you won't be able to sample it, you're going to have to blind buy it. It's a DS and Durga called Spirit of the Glen. And they literally worked with Glenn Levitt, I think it is. Glenn Levitt? Can't remember if it's Glenn Levitt or Glenn Feedick. One of the Glens. They worked with one of the Glens. And they came up with this Scottish Scotch fragrance with some whiskey, and look at the note listing. It's one of the best boozy fragrances no one talks about. And it's discontinued, unfortunately. It's from their series called the Highlands series. My favorite DS and Durga, hands down, no question asked. Such a smooth oak note with that whiskey and scotch, and oh, it's just unbelievable. Up there with, you know, things like Creation E or Enigma, Pour Homme Parfum by Roja for some of my favorites. Some of my favorite boozy fragrances, and Amouage, of course, Overture Man. Hyde is one of the best leathers. Mike didn't like it. He didn't like Hyde. It's fantastic so far, man. It's like, I mean, it's literally like smelling like a barbecue when you're a little kid and your old man is like barbecuing burgers and hot dogs and the grill's closed. You can smell the charcoal fumes like escaping the grill, but some of it literally gets like, you know, charcoaled onto the soot and the ash, you know, and it just gets stuck to the metal, and it's good. I'm a fan. Hey, Javon, welcome. What's up, Ramsey? Dead of the Night by Strangelove, definitely the most anime-like fragrance I have ever tried. Yeah, those Strangeloves are good. They are very overpriced, I think, but they are very good. I've got a review of a couple. I can't remember which ones I've reviewed, but one of these days I'll review the other ones because I do have samples. Moth, Camel, Sacred Scarab, and T-Rex are very similar, Andre. Very, very similar favorites. I remember liking maybe a couple others, but I can't remember which ones I really liked. But I think you pretty much hit the big ones for me. Smoky Leather Amber. Yeah. There's a little bit, if you've ever smelled Anna's Warrenquina's Cuir de Russie, there's definitely a little bit of that in there, in Hyde. But, all right, let's spray another one. It's been a little bit. Let's spray another one. What's the sweetness levels on these? Well, Slowdive is semi-sweet because it's a honey fragrance, so there is going to be some sweetness there. But it's not too, I hate sweet fragrances, but it's not too much. The sweetness almost smells like maybe a little bit like evaporated milk would be slightly sweet. And Hyde is not sweet at all. I mean, it's smoky, woody, leathery, you know, slightly incensey, and you know, there's a weird pissy greenness to it too. Maybe it's the sweet acacia and the oak moss, but yeah, not sweet at all. Like if you don't like sweet fragrances, like I don't like sweet fragrances, I would still recommend trying these. Okay, so next on the list is Vivacious. And Vivacious is, what is Vivacious? It is a 2020 release, a floral powdery fragrance. Okay, let's give this a go. We'll go right here in the middle of my arm. Can you imagine what I'm going to smell like when this is all said and done? My goodness. Vivacious, floral powdery. That's floral and powdery, all right, but that is really good. I really like that. That's 3 for 3 so far. I really like it says violet, but it smells like high quality iris to me. I really like that. It reminds me, some say it reminds them a little bit of Après Londe. I could see that. Some say a little bit of Le Bleu. I could see a little bit of those two Guerlains. There's definitely an old Guerlain feel in here. But there's also something modern about it. Like if you've ever smelled, oh man, I'm trying to think. Papillon has an iris fragrance that she made for her daughter's wedding, Hera. If you've ever smelled Hera by Papillon, it has this sort of Dior Homme niche iris, but she's blended it with the note of ambrette. And this feels like it has a little bit of that in there, even though there's no ambrette listed. It feels like it has a little bit of that sort of aromatic, musky. You know, they say ambrette can be like musky and slightly sweet with like a hint of cognac. And it smells like maybe there could be a little bit of that in here as well, but I'm also just getting a ton of iris is what it smells like. A beautiful powdery iris, old school carnation, and amber, and bergamot in the top are the notes. If you like the old Guerlains, like if you're a fan of Le Bleu or Après Londe, I would urge you to try Vivacious. This is really good stuff. All three have been, I mean, winners so far. All three have been winners. Let's see what Hiram Green says about Vivacious. Damn, how do I find it? It's not right there in the front. Let me search for it. Fragrances. Vivacious. Here we go. Vivacious is a violet-themed perfume. Yes, violet and iris, definitely. Takes its cue from those prim Victorians who adored this precious flower so much. Updated for the 21st century, this scent has a happy and carefree flair. See how they said updated for the 21st century? There does feel like this DNA is a vintage old Guerlain DNA. The fragrance opens with bright and joyful bergamot that seamlessly merges into a floral bouquet of flinty violet and spicy carnation. Definitely spicy carnation. Waxy orris smoothly anchors this boisterous heart. Yes, beautiful orris. And soft powdery amber adds a warmth and luxurious finish. Vivacious is an exuberant and joyful perfume, perfect to zing your life. $175 for 50 mils. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing. There's not like a twist or a turn so far. It's just very well done, and it also feels like there's something maybe slightly green in the background, like they've taken some of that violet leaf, or violet, not violet leaf, excuse me. They've taken some of like the stems of the violet flowers and like blended them up in a blender, you know, almost like you're getting some of the or grassiness that the field that the violets grow in. Violets are a very soft, very precious, very like delicate flower. Like, you know, they're nowhere near like the big giant rose centrifolias. They're very soft flowers, and that's how this fragrance smells. But it's beautiful. I love iris orris done in this style. I mean, there's really nothing else to say about it. That pretty much nails it. It's a violet themed fragrance, orris themed fragrance that takes from old Guerlains and blends it with something modern like the Papillon I mentioned. Beautiful ingredients, beautiful smell. Maybe even a little heliotrope or something that adds to this sort of, this sort of like this thick pudginess, like this, like you just sink your teeth into it, like the powderiness is beginning to solidify, and then whenever you smell it, it kind of goes back, it changes form and goes into a gas or something. It's beautiful. Big fan. Like Vivacious so far. Like all of these so far. Sounds like it was named perfectly. Hopefully not PDM. No, nowhere near PDM. Equus something. Yes. Barbecue reminds me of Bois Secure from Atelier d'Ors, but can no longer stand the sweetness of those. I have never smelled that fragrance. Actually, I don't think I've ever smelled anything from that line. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. I mean, that's literally exactly what it is. Dry. That's a great descriptor. It's dry, smoky. I don't know about smooth. Well, it's slightly smooth, but then there's also something bracing in the background of Hyde because of that pissiness, you know, that green sort of pissiness. 50 ml Hyde lasts forever. I could see that. I I could see many people probably being afraid to wear Hyde out in public. Ahoy there, mateys! Hey Ramsey, do you recommend any other Jean Patou fragrances to try out? I really love Ma Liberté and enjoy Voyager. Good. Those are two fantastic perfumes. I love them both. I mean, outside of you just going out and getting something like Patou Pour Homme Prive, or which is one of the best sandalwood fragrances. I mean, we talked about too. You know, you want to talk about like sandalwood royalty. These two, Patou Pour Homme Prive and Bois de Zeal, sandalwood royalty. You're in the presence of when wearing those. But I mean, I think Jean Carleo is one of the most underrated perfumers ever. Like I think he's a hall of fame. Like if you had a hall of fame of perfumers, Jean Carleo would be in it. And the fact that he's running the Osmotech right now speaks to that. Scent of the day, Courageous Homme. I want to smell that. I know Rich Mitch was going on about how great that is, and I would love to smell that one day. I've never smelled it. Kayali is like an influencer brand, right? Just modern aroma chemicals, I think. I've never smelled any of them. It's not top shelf perfumery. It's middle shelf. Just got my bottle of Portos today. Portos. What a brilliant fragrance that is, by the way. And I can assure you that Portos will be given a Hall of Fame vintage fragrance review on Channel Ram one of these days. I absolutely adore this stuff, man. It is so unbelievably good. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love this DNA. One of the best castoreum notes ever in perfumery. The way it works with your skin. Castoreum Al would be proud. We were talking about Portos. Hey, Wes. DS and Durga Cowboy Grass and Ombre Quiso are also very good. Ombre Quiso, I think, smelled. Is that the one that's like $700 or something ridiculous? I think it smelled very similar to Silver by Clandestine Laboratories. Porto's first wear was, oh, this is like Aramis next wear. This is like a niche Aramis to me beyond smooth filth. And that bottle is also the smoothest glass I've come across. Matches the scent. It is very smooth, is it not? They are not using cheap glass. I'll tell you that. Thanks a lot, Rams. You're welcome, Zach. Thanks for being here. Porto's first wear. Yes, fantastic. It matches the scent. Super smooth filth. Yes, yeah, I love it. Strange Love Fall into Stars is an astronomical amber dream. Yes, I like that one. I've only sampled Vivacious once, and from what I remember, it was like violet cola. But I love cola fragrances. That's the thing. So maybe I'm predestined to love this. But yeah, definitely. If you're an Oris Iris fan, you got to sample Vivacious. Indeed, Ram brought perfumery back to life for me. I had no idea about going back to go forward. That is exactly right, Black Monday. It is my honor. I love hearing stuff like that. That makes me very happy. That makes me a very happy Ram because that's why I do this. It is, this is not keeping me going or anything like that. This is a hobby for me, so that makes me very happy. All right, the ginger beer is killed. Hey, all, how goes it? Into the night? Nothing. Well, wear something. Spray something on, Matt. Leonard Porome, one of my all-time greats. It's under lock and key, so I can't go get it right now. Bravo, Manuel. Has anyone won Dolce & Gabbana Amber Sun? Never heard of it. Thanks for the shout-out on the Serge frag. I'm happy to be gifted to someone who loves it. Thank you, my friend. Really, really do appreciate it. And I really enjoyed making the video on Miel de Bois a couple days ago. So thank you, A2. Thank you very much, my friend. Means a lot. You mentioned cola, and I have to recommend the Hope by Thameen. I've never smelled any Thameen, although now that Christopher Chong is there, I would love to. Maybe I can get him to send me some samples. He very kindly reached out to me. It was almost humbling. He wrote me a message and said, "Hey man, Karine," which I assume he was talking about Karine Vincent-Spenner. Karine sent me a couple of your videos, and I listened to what you've been saying about me, and thank you. And I said, man, just keep on going. Like, trust yourself. Keep going. You'll do it again at Thameen. I know you will. So I have serious respect for Christopher Chong and hope that, you know, he'll be able to turn Thameen not necessarily into Amouage, but what Amouage stood for, which is a niche house that, you know, did its own thing and went against the grain and wasn't in it for sales. You know, they weren't just putting out Parfum de Marly, Initio, fragrances we've smelled a million times. They were putting out stuff that was different and unique and challenging. And that's the whole point of buying niche. Otherwise, go buy designer. Why do you want to buy a designer in a niche pricing point? You know, that makes no sense. But what can you say? All right, let's spray the next one. We are almost an hour in, and I don't know how long my voice is going to go. So this one's called Lustre, and the quote is, "Life is golden." So Lustre is, well, let's see. What is Lustre? Lustre is not on the Hiram Green website anymore. That's interesting. Well, let's see if it's on Parfumo. It is 2019. Production was apparently discontinued. Well, shit. That's a bummer already. Let's try old Lustre, shall we? We will do. Sorry, I'm just catching up on writing down where we're spraying what. Lustre. Okay. So Lustre is on. Does it leave a luster? Oh. Oh. I really, really like that opening. You know what I really like about the opening is the rose. They say Bulgarian rose, but it's actually mixed with, they say, citrus notes and frankincense. And it reminds me of smelling Taif rose. Taif rose is one of my all-time favorite roses. Just 10 seconds in, you know, the first 15 seconds of this, a brilliant Taif rose-like smell, even though it's Bulgarian rose, which I think is kind of fruitier and, if I remember, you know, thicker. You know, Taif rose has like this tea-like smoothness to it, and it's also lemony. And maybe it's because they mixed it with citrus notes, but this is another good one. I wouldn't buy this because I want Malik Al Taif, because it is sort of done in this style in the opening, but it dries down to an amazing oud, and there's all this other stuff in Malik Al Taif. I absolutely love that fragrance. That's my #1 Russian Atom fragrance I want, I don't have. But this is very good. Very, very good, especially if you're a Taif rose lover. Even though there's no Taif rose in here, it is giving the feel of Taif rose, which is my favorite rose. It's so, I mean, it just makes you want to smile. It's just a brilliant when you smell Taif rose, it's brilliant. This smells like smelling like pure rose otto in the beginning. Amazing. I'm wondering if they discontinued this because it has a lot of real rose, and real rose has unexpectedly become, I mean, it's always been expensive, but I think over the last couple of years, it's become even more expensive. Real rose otto is in high demand, and this smells extremely high quality. I'm loving Hiram Green right now as a brand. All four, even the discontinued Lustre is a hit. Absolutely a hit. So this came out in 2019. They already discontinued it. It's amazing. Interesting. Very interesting. It's a good thing I didn't come across these earlier, or I mean, I would have probably bought a lot of them. There's these are all full bottle worthy to me. Every single one. Every single one's full bottle worthy. Hyde, I think I would, if I was going to leave one out, believe it or not, I think I would leave out Hyde, which might surprise some people, but I have so many leathers I love so much between things like Antaeus and Bellamy and Pure Distance M and Roja's Fetiche and all these other leathers that I love to wear. Mona Diorio's Queer. And it reminds me so much of Queer de Russie by Anna Zworynkina that I might leave out Hyde, even though that's the one that everyone expected me to love the most. And I do really like it, but I have other fragrances that scratch that itch. But these others, Slowdive, of course, I could just wear something like Miel de Bois, but these others are, Lustre and Vivacious are just done so beautifully that even though they're not my favorite, you have to tip your cap to them. I mean, Lustre is a brilliant, beautiful opening, and it almost has, if you've smelled real rose otto, you know it has sort of that, I call it the artichoke smell. Like it smells like you blend it up, like you know, taken the artichoke, right? You know how you like use your teeth to peel the meat off of it, and sometimes you get a bunch of it, sometimes you don't. But imagine like the grooves in the artichoke leaf whenever you go to peel the meat off, right? And just imagine that taste and smell. And that's kind of what Rose Otto just, it smells very green. Most people don't realize it doesn't smell like the rose you would come to expect from rose notes in perfumery. When you smell just pure Rose Otto, it smells extremely green. And I'm getting some of that in here. I'm getting that artichoke-like greenness, the frankincense, which it's becoming slightly more smoky. There's an iris note in here, but it's nowhere near as heavy as the iris note in Vivacious. Amazing. First four from the house. All loves for me. All loves. Wearing the last spritz of MDCI Invasion Barbari, that's full bottle worthy, mate. I'm going to review that one of these days, too. I've got 30 mils floating around somewhere. It's a great fragrance. Well, I see you're having an adult beverage. It is actually not an adult beverage. It is ginger beer, which is alcohol-free. But I do really enjoy it. I am an adult, and I am enjoying it. So I guess technically it is an adult beverage. I'll wear Sense of Wood, Oud and Bourbon. Yeah, I did a live stream on them, I think, and they're a house that I'm a little, I don't know. What I don't like about their whole idea is that you sign up for their, whatever they call it, like, you know, you sign up for their membership, and they send you like a 10 mil of and a candle or something every month. And so they have like a season of this. I think it's like 6 months out of the year or something, but every month they have to come out with a new fragrance, right? And I'm sure they kind of plan it ahead of time, but I don't like having an arbitrary, like a perfumer has to put a perfume out by, we're doing a new launch every month kind of thing. And many of their fragrances have a very similar DNA. Like it smells like the inside of like that oak barrel, which I kind of like, that, you know, oak tannins, they call it. But I don't know. I mean, I have a bottle that somebody sent me. I think it was Rachel. Rachel sent me one, and she sent me the one everyone hypes up, Plum and Cognac, which is okay. But I think I liked Oud and Bourbon better. And Plum and Cognac is okay for, you like Thanksgiving time, it's cold and you're around a lot of people and you want to wear something that they, are not going to be like, oh my God, what are you wearing? Because it does have a little bit of that playful sweetness, designer sweetness, the stuff that is not in Hiram Green's scent so far. I don't smell any of that designer like smell in Hiram Green's fragrances, but it is in some of those scents of wood perfumes. So I don't think they're bad, but I don't think, if you remember in 2020 when this came out, I think it was 2020, but a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when Plum and Cognac came out, it was one of the most hyped fragrances on YouTube. Everyone was talking about, oh, it's a generational fragrance, one of the greatest fragrances of all time. And I got it and I was like, I mean, is it nice? Yes. Is it pleasant? Yes, but I don't rate it as highly as some. Let's put it that way. I have a couple of those. They are linear, but quality. They are quality, 100%. I don't think I have any. I thought I had the vanilla one. I forget. It shows I have a sample in Parfumo or a decant. I make a note every time someone sends me one, so I know kind of what I have if I want to go back. And I tore this place apart looking for it, and I couldn't find it. I forgot what it was called, but I would love to smell more Perfume aromas. Definite quality. And I'm going to review, there's a full review of this little bad boy coming up soon. Arso, which I am absolutely in love with. This might be my favorite Perfume aroma. And this was sent to me by a friend, Jeff. Jeff sent me this bottle, so thank you. I have great subscribers. If you smelled Dries Van, I have not smelled Dries Van Noort. No. I have not. I would love to smell it one of these days. I'd love to own a bottle, but the prices are absolutely one of the craziest things I've ever seen. People want $900 for a bottle. They're out of their mind. I'm interested in trying Vivacious. Have a buttery, yes. Buttery, powdery, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If you like a high quality iris, I would definitely recommend trying that. I'd also recommend trying that Hera by Papillon I was mentioning. And I'd also recommend trying Angelique. Angelique is a little softer. Hera is more to my taste. It's a little more like Dior Homme in a niche version. But if you're just an iris freak, try Angelique, try Hera by Papillon, and try this Vivacious. Those are three quality iris scents. Scent of Wood has now done 4 oud frags, with oud and bourbon being my favorite. Yes, oud and bourbon is my favorite too, Alan. I think you or maybe somebody sent me a sample of that. I can't remember. I love citrusy roses. Yes, me too. I love citrusy roses too. That's why I'm such a big fan of this Lustre. This is fantastic. I mean, it has that it has that very delicate, citrusy feel of Taif rose. It's beautiful. If you've smelled proper rose otto, you'll really appreciate this. You'll really appreciate this. Hiram Green is Canadian perfumer. Eugene should try his fragrances. I did not know that. Bogart's Signature. It's good stuff. I love Bogart's Signature. It's like a blend between a Chypre and a Fougere. It like blends the two together. And even these new bottles of Bogart's Signature are kept in great condition. I have a comparison video between the vintage and the new stuff, and the new stuff holds its own. That's a good reformulation. I like Hyde, but can't imagine ever getting through it, even a large decant. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. It is a lot, is it not? But it's very good, actually. Smelling it again, I'm rethinking my statement. I think all of these are full bottle worthy. I wore it to the gym yesterday, smelled pretty good. Didn't get to enjoy it as much as I wanted because I had to shower and sleep, but it kind of smelled fruity to me. Yeah, I really like oud and bourbon. Justin, smelled papyrus and acacia and liked it. It was my first intro to that note. Bought a bottle before they discontinued it. I like that one too, yes. I think I smelled that one on the Sense of Wood live stream, if I recall. Yeah, the acacia note in Hyde, it smelled very green and pissy for a little bit, but that pissiness has backed off, and now it's just like plumes of smoke and this leathery smokiness, if you will, is what it's settled down into. I really like it. Really, really like it. Wore YSL Pour Homme, and my son said smells just like I cleaned the bathroom. Hardcore. I said, son, the greatest perfume smell of bathroom. This is true. That is a true, damn true statement. Black Monday, truer than you know. I love that pissy restroom honey smell in Boss Number One, and the pissiness in Kouros, and as you say, YSL Pour Homme. There's something subliminal about that. I don't know, but I love it. Sense of Wood, you can buy individual frags, no subscription required. I don't subscribe. Okay, I knew you could, but there's also like a subscription service, if I recall. I drink that in my mules when I do occasionally drink, yes. Some of the Sense of Woods are designer sweet, yes. It's a subscription. The candles are in 10 mil is discontinued now. They discontinued a lot of their scents to make way for new scents. The subscription they're doing now is just 10 mils. Okay, interesting. What do you think about Aton? I have a video on one of them. I have a video on an Aton fragrance that uses a patchouli. That Russian Adam sent me the actual patchouli oil used in that perfume, and it was okay. I thought it was okay, but not good enough for me to go hunt down a full bottle. Thinking of wearing K. de Krizia or Yatagan to bed. Can't go wrong with those, my friend. Fruity. Interesting. Founder wants to do more daring scents, he stated. Yes, he should. He's a niche house. They should be doing daring scents. Other like and he didn't like, but he put it out subjectively, of course. Yeah. This past weekend, I went to a dedicated niche retailer in North Carolina. They had quite a few brands, absolutely all garbage other than them carrying Unum. All of their sales associates knew nothing. They don't have to know anything. Yeah, their job is not to know anything, it's to sell. So I guess if they're hot and can say, are you ready to buy that now, sir? They'll probably make a lot of sales. I was getting a good body heat while I was doing some arms, but the bourbon in my head, they put some fruit notes in the liqueur. That's funny. Hey, Allie, what's going on? Something new. Overture Man. Ah, very nice. Is the Wang in photo the pissy you're referring to? What? Is the Wang in photo the pissy you're referring to? Sorry, Frank. What in God's name are you talking about? Allie, that's my scent too. The particular sales associate that latched onto me thought she could get me to buy stuff by bending over the counter. Exactly what I said earlier. I certainly did that. Well, I mean, you're not going to turn down a peek if it's right in front of you. I didn't buy anything more than what I went in there to buy, though, which was Lavs. I need to smell that. I hear it's fantastic. Rich Mitch absolutely loves Lavs. I need to smell that one day. But I did a video on a fragrance from that house of Unum, or Filippo Scorcherelli. I forget the name, but it was good. That's a quality niche house as well. I test sales associates by punking them with the question, are your perfumes organic? That's funny, Alan. That is funny. Let's see if I have any skin left. We might have to go card with one of these. Let's see what we have left. So I think what we'll do is we'll save Moon Bloom for cards, since that is ultra floral. And we'll do Vetiver and Arbolé. Arbolé. I don't know how to pronounce that. Let's see. Let's do Arbolé. 2016. Woody and green. Okay, that's exciting. Let's spray this bad boy on. Woody and green. It's a damn solid patchouli, man. That is a solid patchouli scent with woods, cedarwood, sandalwood, tonka, and vanilla. That's solid. I mean, everything I've tried from the house so far, every single thing is good to me. Tree, dry and green. Arbolé. It used to be called Arbolé. If you're a patchouli lover, this has to go on the to sniff list. Arbolé takes its name and spirit from Federico Larca's poem, which opens with the line, tree, dry and green. Think of a lazy summer afternoon somewhere in the hinterland of Ibiza. Salty, dry wind blowing through the trees and a trace of incense lingering in the air. This is a romantic fragrance with a vintage touch. I don't know if patchouli is necessarily romantic, but I'll take your word for it. Opens up with a burst of earthy patchouli that slowly merges with rich cedarwood and velvety sandalwood. Vanilla and tonka bean anchor the fragrance and provide a sweet and powdery base. This is really good, though. If you're a fan of patchouli, I mean, it also almost smells like there are some citruses in the top, even though they're not listed. I would not be surprised to see there was some bergamot used in here in the top with the woody, earthy, green patchouli. I mean, Hyde is so strong that when I put my arm here to try to smell it, I'm smelling Hyde through Arbolé. Now it's giving me Hyde is giving me big like Catholic church vibes because of the smokiness, that incensey smokiness. That's a really good fragrance. All of these are really impressive. I think because I have so many patchouli fragrances, though, that Arbolé, as much as I like it, I would probably put it as the weakest of the bunch so far. But that being said, it's not a weak fragrance. It's also in a kind of a hard spot for me to sniff. But it's good. It is good. It's a woody patchouli. It's good. Lobs is amazing. His best creation. Really? That's it? There's a pissy kind of smell in photo. Ah, okay. Yes, maybe it's not as much, I know what you mean. There is a little bit of that in photo, but photo veers somewhat clean in some aspects. The pissy honey I'm talking about is much more Boss Number One, or maybe something like the original Givenchy Gentleman. This is pissy honey and patchouli. Like, speaking of patchouli, that's why patchouli is such a hard sell for me, because I mean, you want patchouli, people? Patchouli, like the best of all time to me. And this is what I want to wear anyways. Like, this is, I crave stuff like Givenchy Gentleman. So buying something like Arbolé for me, it would just be that's a really hard sell. Really, really hard sell. Good evening. And Ansar Oud Q9. Never smelled that one, Ajay. But you'll have to tell me all about it. I'm really liking this discontinued Lustre. What a rose fragrance that is. There's something that frankincense is starting to turn up a little bit, just like the frankincense is maybe starting to boil or something, There's something underneath that beautiful lemony rose. What a fragrance. And rose is not my favorite, but when it's done like this, man, that is damn good. I would still hold out hope for a bottle of Malik Al Taif, but damn, that is really, really good. Really good. Really good. For the females or males, anyone smelled the new reformulation of Prive Christian's Matsukita? I thought it smelled pretty good on a woman, or any mind games sense. Matsukita. It's interesting. That name rings a bell. I might have done a video on the original Matsukita, like the one Clive Christian put out like 100 years ago. Like I think I got a sample of one of those really old Clive Christians, but I know what you're talking about, but I've never smelled the new one made. All right, let's spray some Vetiver on, shall we? I might have to lose this shirt because it's like constricting my blood supply to my arms the way I've got it rolled up. All right, let's see, Vetiver. I mean, every single one of these fragrances does exactly what almost you would hope it to do and expect it to do. That's a solid vetiver. That is a very, very solid vetiver. Again, vetiver is one of those notes that is a really tough tough sell, because there's so many good vetivers in my collection. You know, I would just wear Guerlain's vetiver and be happy as a pig and shit, you know? But this is really good. It opens up extremely spicy, and I don't know what that spice is. At least not yet. It almost feels slightly minty, slightly like camphoraceous, but still focusing on the vetiver, if that makes sense. So there's something spicy that sort of mixes. It's not just a vetiver fragrance. Okay, so they say it's ginger. So there's like a sprightly ginger. There's still something almost anise-like in quality, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, Justin, 100%. The Rose and Aramis 900 and Zeno, and also Actor by Azzaro. Those are some of the all-time great masculine roses. Yeah, there's almost something like if you've ever smelled Adak, it's like Arabic drink made from anise. But the Adak drink smells a little different than just smelling the anise. There's almost something like that here, with this very sprightly ginger and two types of vetiver, Java vetiver and Haitian vetiver. And then it's mixed with ambrette seed, which I absolutely love. We talked about ambrette when we talked about Vivacious. It really does feel like there's some ambrette in there. What a beautiful fragrance Vivacious is, and cedarwood. So yeah, Hiram Green. I mean, shit, folks. This is one of the most successful sampling, just like first impression I've done on a brand in, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, really like their scents, and they're not outrageous. 175 bucks. So for Vetiver, it says the spicy and woody fragrance is what I imagine heart throbs of Hollywood's golden age smelt like, elegant and charming, yet vivacious and adventurous. See, it's interesting. He writes Hollywood's golden age, like a blast to the past, because that anise-like feel reminds me of a long-lost James Bond masculine scent. Well, it's not long lost, but it's long reformulated. Azzaro Poron. This is a fantastic fougere. Slightly barbershop, but with that sharp anise in the opening, and I love that sharp anise. There's something very sharp about the way that the ginger mixes with that anise, that Adak-like smell, and vetiver, right? And the vetiver here smells of the highest quality. It smells very, very. Every single one of these is high quality. They have Guerlain's vetiver similar to this. I disagree. They have Cowboy Grass by Dias and Durga, which someone said earlier is an amazing fragrance. I don't think I've smelled that one, but it says I've got a decant somewhere. I've got decants just everywhere of stuff. I have no clue where that decant is if I do have one. But this smells more like a modern take on vetiver, but done in the vintage style, if that makes sense. So it smells like a proper niche vetiver that you would pay money for because it's different than all the other vetivers that you've smelled, but done in sort of a vintage style that gives a little throwback to the old masculine sense of old. Because you have to remember, Guerlain's vetiver in 1959, is that when it came out? 59, I think. You know, this was this is kind of like this is what many men back then wore. It was this really does feel like a working man's scent, you know, like someone who works with their hands and their hands just gets greasy at work, right? Like think of Eugene's job where he's you know, working in a proper workshop with metal and grease, and you know, he smashes his thumb and blood gets underneath his thumb and it turns black, and you know, like a working man, not like, I mean, I go to a job, but I don't go do work, right? I'm not like lifting stuff up and carrying it. I'm typing stuff on the computer and stuff like that. I go to a job, but think of like a man who goes and seriously works, right? That's what vetiver always reminded me of because of that tobacco with the vetiver. It's just a perfect masculine scent, and that Guerlain, you know, poshness, and this bottle in particular, the ribbed bottle, ribbed for your pleasure. Each one of these little lines is supposed to be a different age of a man's life, right? And you know, there's something in the opening very meadow-like, being in the outdoors, very grassy, very, you know, and so I don't think this goes down that road at all. I think this Hiram Green's vetiver is completely different. Like if you want to smell a vetiver that does something different with the note of vetiver, many vetivers start smelling the same. I would say try this one. This one's unique. This one's unique for sure. I find Arbolé extremely clean and creamy, barely any earthiness. Well, I definitely get the earthiness from the patchouli, but there is something clean about, I think, the woods underneath. Maybe that sandalwood gives off this very smooth woodiness, slight resins and tree sap. Interesting. Maybe I'm just smelling so many things, but I definitely get earthiness. Maybe because just patchouli reminds me of earthiness personally. You did a video and DMDU this week. I think Z, you said they reformulated. I didn't know it was a reformulation until I seen your great wisdom video. Appreciate that, Matt. Hiram Green seems legit so far. Hyde got me so intrigued. Hyde is very intriguing, and it's changing even now. Like, remember I was saying, it reminded me of Queer de Russie by Anna Zwarinkia. That's changed. That's gone. That was at the beginning part of the fragrance. And now it's almost smelling just like plumes. Like imagine just like Catholic church incense smoke wood. Hiram Green's perfumes are the most complete all natural scents, I think. I think you're right. I think it's really hard to do all natural perfumery. And I'm going to review Anna Zwarinkia's, which is also all natural, but I don't think her work is as good as Hiram Green's. I think complete is a good way to say it. Generic perfume related channel name. Wore Guerlain's vetiver yesterday. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. There are many other indie perfumers that mostly stick to naturals that do better, but not all natural. That's the key. Yeah, I agree with you. I love Guerlain's vetiver. I do too. I mean, it's the greatest vetiver of all time. Vetiver Royale by Sherwood. Yes, that's another good one, which I reviewed on the channel. You guys can go check that out. That is a shameless plug. Okay, let me grab a blotter. Don't go anywhere. As if you're listening to my orders. He said don't go anywhere. Keep them all rounded up. All right, let's try this Moon Bloom. Moon Bloom. Handcrafted and entirely natural. That is impressive that these are entirely natural. I will say that. It is very hard to do entirely natural perfume. Okay, Moon Bloom. I think the most girly of the bunch. Oh yeah, that is coconut, tuberose. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a quality tuberose, but this one's not for me. This is my least favorite just because of style. Okay, it's a good fragrance. I can tell you right now. I can instantly detect that they're using high quality materials. There's absolutely no doubt about that in my mind. But this style of perfumery where it's like coconut, tuberose absolute, jasmine absolute, ylang ylang, tropical spices, even this I like. I mean, this is basically considered to be like a white floral sweet fragrance, if you will. It's a big white floral. This would smell amazing on a woman. That you know, chick working at the perfume counter you were talking about, generic perfume related channel name, who was trying to bend over and get you to buy a bottle so you could look down her shirt. Or maybe look down her shirt so you would buy a bottle. I could totally see that this being worn on a very sexy woman. Yeah, it's high quality. You're right. Yeah, it is. It's a quality effeminate frag. Yes, very well said, Alan. It is quality, 100%. I wouldn't wear this just because it's not my thing, but I can appreciate it. I can absolutely appreciate it, and I'm glad I sprayed this one on paper. I'm glad I sprayed this one on paper. The florals that I sprayed on my skin are fantastic. Vivacious. I wish they weren't so lumped together so I could really pick them apart better. Vivacious seems to have really calmed down, but that first hour or whatever it was, amazing. Lustre is still going strong though. I love that lemony rose with frankincense and iris. Fantastic. Those two are bang out, knockout winners. The only reason I can think Lustre being discontinued is maybe the high cost of the rose oil they were using because it smells so high quality. I still prefer Malik Al Taif, but when I start comparing rose frags to Malik Al Taif, there's no comparison for me. Malik Al Taif is the king, but when I start comparing, when I start comparing, you know, those kind of rose fragrances to a fragrance like Malik Al Taif, which I consider the all-time rose fragrance, you know it's good. That's damn good. Damn good. Even this vetiver, man, this vetiver is full bottle worthy. I don't think I've ever smelled a vetiver that's doing what this is doing. This is different and unique, and yet it still retains the heart and soul of vetiver. I'm very impressed with this brand. Very, very impressed. Sorry you didn't like them, Mike V, but man, I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. Even the one that is not for me, this Moon Bloom, this is quality. This is high quality stuff. If you're a white floral like fanatic, if you love jasmines and tuberoses and ylang ylang, I would urge you to try Moon Bloom for sure. This was a solid first impression series. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. Okay, so we're an hour and 30 minutes in, and usually you get me for about 2 hours. So if there is anything else you guys want to just kick the shit about while you got me, we've covered a lot. I mean, half of my table is filled with fragrances I pulled out and we talked about in the live stream. But if there's anything else while you got me that you want to discuss, I will be all ears. I am going to be rude and eat a date right in front of you because, well, they're sitting here and I feel like a date. These are good. Someone needs to make a fragrance with that note in it. A proper date note. I mean, I'm sure it's out there, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. That is good. I am not gonna lie. What other weird notes should go into a perfume? I'm a fan of like putting weird stuff in fragrances that usually won't go. Yeah, I think it does. Or dried fruits or something is what they say. But yeah, there's definitely a date note in there. Let's see, what else has a date note in it? What else has a date note? Ada B, of course. Serge Lutens has a date note in it. Noisette de Assis. So Noisette is hazelnut, if I remember, by Katana. I think someone sent me. No, maybe it's just because I put it on the wish list, but that's a brand I'm looking forward to talking about more on the channel. Katana. That's a solid house. I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Yeah, it's on the wish list. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the House of Katana, but if you like Arise Ladore stuff or Bordnikov stuff, Katana is another one of those houses, and they are not cheap. They are expensive. There is sweat in some Prin Lamrosses. Yeah, Prin has insane note listings. Honestly, Prin's hit or miss for me, man. Like if you go watch my earlier reviews of some Prin fragrances I did, I was like, whoa, this is not for me. And then I stumbled across a couple, so I've probably done like 4, I think, reviews, and the first 2 were no, not for me. And then the last couple Prins I reviewed were okay. I liked them. I didn't like them enough to go right out and buy a bottle, but I liked them more. Any notes you're looking forward to smell more of? And has anyone else smelled the Cartier Oud Voyage scents? Oud and Amber, my fave. I have smelled one in passing in a blind sniff, and I enjoyed it. Honestly, I'm just so discombobulated about the future of perfumery. I'm so my expectations are so low, let's put it that way, that I just go to the past. I just wear stuff from the past that I love. Like we were talking about things like Portos or, you know, Patou pour Homme Prive, or like that's the kind of stuff I want to wear, honestly. You know, so for me, I get more excited about shopping my own collection and being like, ooh, what am I going to wear today? And also think about, for me, I also try to think about what do I want to talk about on the channel. Because part of me wants to sort of, you know, get through some of these decants and talk about them because all I have is a couple drops and I'll never be able to talk about them again otherwise. And also you guys were kind enough to send stuff to me. So like this sample set, I didn't buy this. Someone sent me this. Someone sent me this Hiram Green sample set. I did not buy this. And so, and it probably, honestly, I think I've been sitting on this for a year. I've been sitting on this for like a year. So, you know, when people send me stuff like this, like I want to discuss it, but also I'm kind of one of those people where I'm like, when the time is right, it'll happen. You know what I mean? Like I don't rush things. And sometimes stuff will just sit. Sometimes stuff will sit and I won't smell it. Like there are so many decants up there I have yet to smell. And when the time is right, one night I'll grab it and wear it again, or wear it a couple times and then talk about it on the channel. So for me, I mean, I get a chance to discover a lot of stuff, but I also realize how overpriced fragrances are. Like that review I did yesterday on Diwan Al Shark by Arabian Oud, $425 for 100 mil, and it smelled like it smelled actually worse to me than a $30 Ajmal that I bought off of a friend. And you know, I'm just so my expectations of the future of perfume are so low that I just sort of live in the past. And every now and then I peek my head up, I review a new fragrance. I reviewed Oud for Greatness just 3-4 months back. I peek my head up above ground, I look around and I go, fuck this, I'm going back under, you know? And so, you know, it's just kind of one of those things for me where it's hard to say I'm excited to see what the future holds, because I'm actually not excited. I am a frag head and I love exploring new stuff, but I really don't like what's going on with the industry. I don't like the path the industry is taking. I don't like all these venture capitalist firms coming in and buying brands like Initio and Parfum de Marly. I don't like them putting out designers in fancy niche bottles. I don't like any of that. None of that makes me happy. I feel like the industry is just taking advantage of people. And it's funny because I feel like so much is there's a recycling aspect to taste in perfumery. So, you know, what's popular in the 80s may not be popular for decades, and then it may start to come back, you know, just like fashion sort of comes back. So, you know, it's, I say my motto is fuck everybody else. I wear what I want, right? That's sort of what I mean. I wore 1740 to work these last couple days, and mostly because I want to review this for you guys before this decant is gone. But you know, this is a challenging human animalic leather, old school style fragrance. Many people would not wear that to work. I have no problem, and I'll do like 1 2 1 2 1 2. You know, like I'll spray it on myself. And so, you know, it's just kind of one of those things for me where I enjoy shopping the collection and wearing different things, but a lot of my most excited wares nowadays are either the artisanal houses getting to discover new ouds. Discovering new ouds is probably my most exciting thing nowadays, to be honest with you. There's very few French fragrances or, you know, French style perfumery that I smell now that excites me, because I would just rather wear old Guerlains, or I'd rather just wear my Dior's, or, you know, back when YSL was actually a house worth of shit to me, you know, I'd just rather wear old YSL Pour Homme, or old M7 or old Kouros or something like that. I mean, you know, so for me, it's very hard to get excited about new stuff. But sometimes I discover a new fragrance where it isn't new, but maybe it's new to me. Like Arso is a great example of it. This is a niche fragrance, and I absolutely love this stuff. I'm in love with Arso. I think it's fantastic. Up the Arso is absolutely fantastic. Just a brilliant fragrance. And so, but there's so many perfumes out there, it's impossible for one person to keep up. So, you know, I rely on you guys sometimes sending me decants or stuff like that, or just getting around to it. Like, I'd love to review Portos, but I want to make sure I do it justice. So I got to wear it more for you guys before I do a review. But there's a lot of those types of things that I'm more looking forward to doing the review for you guys than I am discovering new scents. Let's put it that way. There's a date fragrance. It's boozy from one of your favorite houses, Navitas. Oh shit! I've actually, I think I might have had a decant of one Navitas fragrance or something, but yeah, that's another one of those houses where they're sort of priced in between. You know, they're more expensive than just going down and buying your average fragrance from Macy's or something, but they're not as expensive as Rojas and stuff like that. You'll like Homme. Ah, you sent me some, Ajay, didn't you? Yes. There are some spring fragrances here. So what do we have? We have Ganja Castori. That's exciting. So weed and castoreum. We have Homme. Ah, there you go. And we have Varouk. Varouk is on fire. So yes, I am excited to get to sniff these prints. I am excited to get to sniff these prints. It's called XO Brandy. Interesting. How are you feeling about Lesson Demo Doblas lately? Vanille Havana is something I enjoy a lot. I like Vanille Havana. It was just a little too sweet. I wish they would have toned down the sweetness. I don't know how I feel about them putting out a extrait or whatever they're calling it, a pure parfum. And I never got a chance to smell Patchouli Noisette because I know Eugene said he'd reach out to the brand or something and that they would send me like a discovery atomizer so I could talk about it on the channel, but it never arrived, never happened. So I never got a chance to smell the newest one from the brand. But from what I know about Lesson Demo Doblas, the older stuff I absolutely love. And I have some videos coming on those too at some point. Don't you have Arcadia and Shangri-La in the Hiram Green sample set? Nope. Not there. Not there. Nope. This is maybe an older sample set. Maybe it's an older sample set. So those are the two Hiram Greens that I've not smelled. So let me just check over here, but I don't think so. Nope. No. But speaking of sample sets, our next live stream could be on Olfactive Studios. There's a brand I have yet to talk about on the channel. So we've got an older sample set of Olfactive Studios, Flashback, Lumiere Blanche, Still Life, Auto Portrait, Chambre Noir, Ombre Indigo, and Panorama. I think Chambre Noir is the one that got the most hype on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. So there are, I mean, we could do these live streams all the time. I've got a ton of stuff to talk about. It is just a matter of finding the time to do it with you guys. One good thing about perfumery today is the rise of independent and artisanal. Yes, 100% agree. And the fact that we can smell some amazing ouds right now. You know, ouds from collections of people like the Sultan, which we never would get to otherwise, although it is an arm and a leg. But, you know, I've gotten to enjoy some amazing oud fragrances, and for that, I'm very thankful. Very familiar with that Cartier series. We can chat away from the live stream. Yes, absolutely. Got a Lagerfeld Splash with frosted sides, and what's crazy is it's different from the other one I have. It's that DNA, but I got a leather and don't from the non-frosted. Outrageous. That is outrageous, Black Monday. You are going down the rabbit hole, sir. I know that I don't care for Western Mellow Oud Wood. I did like it come back too, and you talked about the bad performance as did notice, and I like more dirty scents. Cartier has it. Nice. If I have to put up with fellow workers coming in from the breaks wearing a pungent dose of Marlboro or Salem menthol. That's a great point, Alan. Ah, Glitch. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, man. It's really good to see you. Glad you made it. Glad you made a live stream. I was just about to shut it down, so I'm glad you're here. Man, these are very nice. Hiram Green, solid house. Glad we were able to do this. I hope that this sort of implores some of you guys to smell some of these, because it is a solid house, and the whole natural part is maybe the craziest. I can't believe that. I can't believe these are 100% natural. Guy did a hell of a job. Mr. Hiram Green, bravo to you, sir. Bravo. Seriously. There's so many in here that are full bottles. I'm loving this Vetiver right now. The Arbolé or whatever it is, you know, I have other things I think that do that woody patchouli, but this Lustre is out of this world. I love that style rose, so that would be full bottle worthy, even though Vivacious is not tenacious. The first hour was fantastic enough to be full bottle for me, and Hyde's doing crazy things with the smoke, and now it just seems like a plume of smoke. So it's, I mean, and of course Slowdive, an amazing honey. I think I would just stick to Miel de Bois. there's something evaporated milk in the dry down of Slowdive to me. It literally smells like evaporated milk. My mother used to buy carnation evaporated milk, and she would open it with this rusty, like, God, what was it? It was like a can opener, but the other side had like this sharp point that was made to pop a hole in cans and pour, back when they used to create cans like that. Showing my age. And the smell of Slowdive into the dry down reminds me of carnation evaporated milk. Very, very strange. I did want to send you one from Navitus. Surprisingly, I think you'd like. It did smell old man to me. Anyone in the chat smell Emblaze? Never heard of it. Tried some Francesca Bianchi recently. Nothing full bottle worthy so far, but I will test more. Etruscan Water, The Dark Side, and one more. I like Black Knight, I think. I think my favorite Francesca Bianchi was, hang on, and I have a review on the channel about it. It was called Under My Skin. Under My Skin was my favorite. The Lover's Tale was also good, if I recall, but I think Under My Skin was my favorite. Under My Skin was like a niche version of this. Dun, dun, dun. You guys remember this little bad boy? Bala Versailles by Jean Desprez. Beautiful bottle. Absolutely stunning. With the harp on the top and the gold, which I just dropped on the floor. I really wish that they made bottles like that nowadays, you know? So that's the other problem with niche, is sometimes I'll smell something like Under My Skin, which I really like, and I'll go, well, you know what, but Papillon Salome does it better, and Bala Versailles by Jean Desprez scratches the same itch for me. So you can go watch my full review on Bala Versailles. So sorry, another shameless plug, but I have done a lot of reviews on my channel in the last couple of years, coming up on 2-year anniversary here in a couple months on YouTube. So yeah, it's a quality fragrance, Moon Bloom. Not for me, but it's a quality fragrance. So, all right, I think we're gonna call it Under My Skin. There you go. Hey, Steph's welcome. Michael Jackson scent. Sticky Fingers. I don't think I've smelled that one yet. I'll have to double check. But yeah, I'll maybe I have a sample floating around. So I appreciate everyone watching, joining, interacting on a whim. I love these live streams. Sorry it's been so long. Again, apologies. I'll try to do more. So maybe we'll do the olfactive studios, or there are so many sample sets I have floating around I could do. So there's a lot of brands I want to talk about on the channel, but I don't want to do individual reviews on each scent. So, you know, something like what we did today with the Hiram Green set is absolutely perfect. So thanks for joining. Lick the stream before you go if you're into that kind of thing. Love seeing everybody today. The interaction was awesome. Appreciate you being here with me. Cheers, guys. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.